Hello everyone, my name is Li Yu Hang, and today I'm going to present countercultures, and I'll focus on anti-war movement. So this is my content page. First, I'll introduce what is counterculture, the history of anti-war movement, and I'll introduce two artists, which are Coretta Kent and Carl Frederick Whistler. And finally, is a conclusion. So, what is counterculture? The counterculture of the 60s was an anti-establishment cultural phenomenon and political movement that developed in the Western world during the mid-20th century. It began in the early 60s and continued through the early 70s. It is often synonymous with cultural liberalism and with the various social changes of the decade. The effects of the movement has been ongoing to the present day. The aggregate movement gained momentum as the civil rights movement in the United States had made significant progress, such as Voting Rights Act of 1965 and with the intensification of the Vietnam War that same year. It became revolutionary to some. As the movement progressed, widespread social tensions also developed concerning other issues and tended to flow along generational lines regarding respect for the individual, human sexuality, women's rights, traditional modes of authority, rights of people of color, and of racial segregation, experimentation with psychoactive drugs, and differing interpretations of the American dream. Many key movements related to these issues were born of events within the counterculture of the 1960s. So move on to history of anti-war movement. Organized opposition to U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War began modestly on college campuses in 1964 and grew rapidly as the war became more deadly. By 1967, anti-war activists had formed a national mobilization committee to end the war in Vietnam, which organized significant protests between the late 60s and 1972. This anti-war movement was fueled by counterculture music, literature, and plays promoting non-conformity and peace. It emerged alongside intense student activism and followed the civil rights movement, gaining momentum from large baby boomer generation. The movement broadened to include a diverse range of Americans and is widely seen as a major influence on U.S. policy regarding the war. Many Vietnam veterans, such as future Secretary of State John Kerry and disabled veteran Ron Kovic, voiced their opposition to the war upon returning to the U.S. So now I'm gonna introduce who is Coretta Kent. Coretta Kent was an American artist, designer, and educator, and a former religious sister for over 3 decades. Created bold and colorful silk screen prints that championed social justice causes. Kent took seriously the Catholic ideas of finding the holy in one's everyday life, and so turned to popular images and song lyrics as well as commodity labels and lettering. Kent combined this with biblical verses and her own handwriting to create composition that spoke to the weighty themes of poverty, racism, and war. So the first work I'm gonna introduce about Coretta Kent is The Yellow Submarine. Kent protested the Vietnam War by leveraging her creativity as a form of nonviolent protest. Her serigraph Yellow Submarine combined lyrics from the Beatles with biblical references, highlighting the absurdity of war and the need for love and understanding. So you can see the slogan of Make Love and Not War. And another work from Kent is a powerful protest against the Vietnam War, titled Stop the Bombing, in 1967. The bold and powerful statement, Stop the Bombing, is distorted and slanting, representative of the perverted nature of the Vietnam War. Another artist I'm going to introduce is Carl Fredrik Reuterswärd. Reuterswärd was one of Sweden's most famous artists, as well as a respected author. He studied with Fernand Léger in Paris in 1951 and was a professor of painting at the Academy of Fine Arts in Stockholm between 1965 and 1969. In 1986, he was awarded the Prince Eugen Medal for painting. Reuterswärd was a close friend of John Lennon, a musician who promoted peace in the world. In 1980, a tragic event shocked the audiences. Lennon was assassinated by the fan. The artwork, The Knotted Gun, is often seen as a tribute to the singer's vision of peace on earth. Reuterswärd's sculpture is nowadays worldwide replicated over 30 duplicates, with a famous bronze version unveiled in 1988 in front of the United Nations headquarters. It is a perfect example of an artwork powerful enough to become an international symbol of peace. The conclusion. The 1960s counterculture, fueled by anti-establishment sentiment and social activism, profoundly influenced U.S. policies and cultural norms. This era, marked by significant protests and against the Vietnam War and advances in civil rights, also saw artists like Coretta Kent using their work to advocate for peace and social justice. Kent's vibrant prints and anti-war statements, along with Reuterswärd's iconic The Knotted Gun, underscore the power of art in shaping public discourse and promoting global peace. These movements and works highlight the enduring impact of artistic and political activism in driving societal change. So thank you for listening. This is my presentation. And here is the reference list. Thank you.